What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a couple of devices from Backbone. Now they were kind enough to send me out two different controllers, one for the PlayStation and one for the Xbox. Now I did a community poll to ask what team are you on, and the majority of you said both, which I love to see. So these are a great way to take your gaming anywhere by using the cloud options on the different consoles. So let's get to the unboxing, see what we get inside, and then we'll review the units and see just how good these are. So these are the two different ones that we have. Of course, we've got the PlayStation and the Xbox. Now, I don't think it actually matters. If you was to get the Xbox, you can still do your PlayStation Remote Play because Backbone has its own app and its own kind of software that's used inside the device. Now, I did have the older version of this that I have used on my iPhone 14 to play FIFA and things out in the garden, and it is very good. But this is the latest one with the USB-C, so I can now use it with my iPhone 15. So I think we'll start with the PlayStation one, but we will take a look at both just so you can see if there's any differences in designs and obviously the color of the unit. So as with recent videos, I'm just going to unbox and talk to the mic so I can give you kind of first impressions as we go. So a decent box, packaging's decent, and in here is where the device is going to be sitting. Let's get this open. Right, there we go. You already see we've got some adapters up here to fit for different phones, which is handy, and then a QR code to get the app, which is what I was talking about, which is kind of the app and the software that's inside the device that allows this to work. So this obviously is the PlayStation device. So we'll get this unit out the box. We will set this up on the phone, of course, and we'll go through the software a little bit later in this video just to see what you get. And then we'll do some cloud gaming on the PlayStation and the Xbox, so you can see how this really works. So here's the device. It's got like a spring-loaded center, which is obviously how you can increase the width to insert your phone, and then it will pull back itself and slot back into place. So there is some good resistance there. Obviously we get two joysticks, the Backbone button here, obviously what would be your menu button. There is, I believe, screenshot buttons and taking videos or photos. You've got your usual D-pad and of course your buttons up here. You've got your bumper buttons or your triggers. There is nothing on the back, on the underside. It's just a regular flat case. But the buttons feel good. There's enough resistance to the buttons so you know that you're pressing something, and they're far enough apart that you're not going to press buttons accidentally. So that's the PlayStation one. So now let's take a quick look at the Xbox one. So of course it's just pretty much the same thing. The only difference is the fact that the colors are different as far as I'm aware. And of course the buttons are different. So you actually get the Xbox buttons as opposed to the square, triangle and circle of the PlayStation. But inside, very much the same. We get the adapters up here, which we'll take a look at in a sec. Your QR code to obviously download the Backbone app, which we've discussed, and the controller itself. So maybe if you're more of a fan of a black device, you could go for the Xbox controller. And if you're more of a fan of a light device, you go for the PlayStation. As far as I'm aware, they do work for any device. So it doesn't matter whether you get the Xbox one, this will still work with PlayStation Remote Play, just your buttons again will be slightly different. They'll be tailored for the Xbox, but it will make no difference to the actual gameplay. Same satisfying click on the analog sticks and all the same buttons. Although we didn't look, under here we've got a USB-C port and over here a 3.5mm jack for your headphones. But other than that, it's as you'd expect. It is pretty much a like for like for the controllers. You get your D-pads, your analog sticks, and your additional buttons here with your triggers. So let's see what we get inside these little adapter boxes to see what phones they fit. I assume most phones would fit, and this is why they include adapters, to make sure that you can find something suitable for your phone. Okay, so we only get two adapters in here, so I assume that these would work for most phones again. And I believe that these just go inside here. So these parts here are what are removable. So yep, you can simply slot these parts out here, like so, and then you can take your new part and slot it in, and it just kind of slots in magnetically. So I guess depending on what phone you have, you might want to use the adapters, or you might be okay with just sticking with the standard in here. I'm going to go ahead and put the standard one back in and just see how that works for the iPhone 15. So let's go ahead, get the iPhone 15 installed, and then we'll take a look at the Backbone app. So of course we've mentioned that the phone just simply slots in like so, and then you're able to pull this apart, and then obviously you need to make sure that it is plugged in. Now, I can already tell that it's actually not plugging in correctly. So maybe we need to test the different adapters or just remove them entirely so the iPhone 15 Pro with the case will fit. So I don't know if you can see just down there, but it will not go in because of these adapters. So let's switch them over. So again, they're magnetic, so you just kind of lift from underside, take those off. Same for this side. Take that off. Now these are the additional adapters that we get. So we'll slot them in like that and we'll see if these are any better than the originals. You can tell they're slightly thinner, so this should allow the iPhone 15 to fit inside. So if we just open that up like so, and then we can see down here, and then there we go, plugs straight in. So that is now connected. And your iPhone there has now said you have to unlock the iPhone to use the accessory. As you can see, I have had this downloaded before because again, I spoke about this. I was using it on my iPhone 14. So we're just going to download that on the new phone here. That's now installed and it's automatically opened. So let's see what we get here. Welcome to Backbone. Press A to continue. So of course you have to sign in. So I am going to sign in with Apple just to make it easy. Right, so I'm now signed in with Apple here. So you can claim 33 days of Backbone Plus. So it seems like there is a subscription here that you can do with called Backbone Plus, where you will get 20 features and in-game rewards. But so we're not going to worry about that right now. So we're just going to go ahead to the controller. And in here we've got various settings. So you can claim your Apple Arcade. You can restore your purchases. Obviously there's a firmware update if we need to do that. You can calibrate the joysticks, which is nice. Test your controller buttons, button mapping, or you can log out. So at this point, maybe we'll see if there's any update. Nope, we're up to date, which is fantastic. We'll look at the calibration on the joystick. So we want to do the left side. So we push that. And then we just move it around. So it's not touched and it's in the center. So that all looks good. So we'll go back for that. And then we'll test controller buttons. You press the buttons and the symbols appear, literally letting you know what you've pressed and making sure that they are being pressed correctly, which is great. So that is the iPhone inside the Backbone device. As you can see, it does sit in there quite comfortably. The iPhone 15 Pro Max model this is, so this is the biggest device. But it sits in there pretty comfortably. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall out. Obviously, it's connected via the USB-C, so it feels relatively sturdy. You can wobble it about and it's not coming out, which is good to see. So I think the next step is we turn on the Xbox and we set up the remote Xbox Cloud Play so we can actually see what that's like. So let me go ahead and turn on the Xbox. Right, so the iPhone's connected. The Xbox app is now open. At this point, you will need to turn your console on if you want to do the remote play. So you simply hit this button here and you want to remote play on this device. You hit continue. That's now going to connect to your Xbox, which is why it mentions that you need decent Wi-Fi, because obviously that's how it's going to be connecting. And we are now connected to the Xbox. Isn't that always typical? You want to show a demo or something and you've got a 4GB download. We'll be back in a second. Right, so finally FIFA has now downloaded. So we're just going to go ahead and load that. And I'll just kind of go through a quick game just to show you how the device works. But I'm sure you can all understand how this works for playing games. So one thing I was going to say, this is a USB-C port for charging. I did try and plug in some of my XR glasses and I was hoping that you'd be able to use this and get the image out of it, but sadly it doesn't support it. Now I'm not sure if there might be an adapter that will allow that, so you can have charging and output, but I think this might just be an input only and it's not being able to output from the device out here, so you can plug in like an external monitor or something. Bit of a shame. I'd have loved to be able to use the Backbone and a pair of XR glasses to play whilst on the go. So here we are now playing FC24 on the Xbox, but using the Backbone and our iPhone with the cloud gaming Xbox app. Now all the buttons work as you'd expect. You're able to control yourself, move yourself around. Like I said, you know, it's like using a controller. It is more compact than an Xbox controller. The bumpers at the top here, they're quite slim. Your R1, if you've got fat fingers, you are going to fat finger them constantly. But it's made to be a nice, compact travel device, and that is exactly what it is. So we're not paying attention here. We're about to get one slotted past us. The lag that you see is for the connection between the Xbox Cloud app and the Xbox. I mean, I'm right next to it. I don't know why it's lagging, but that's just the internet for you. So now let's take a look at the PlayStation Backbone and the PlayStation Remote Play. Okay, so we're now connected. I'm actually not using any adapters at all here, and it does feel like it sits maybe a little bit better. There's certainly a bigger recess in here that's going to hold the device in, that's going to hold your phone in place a little bit better. So maybe if using the iPhone 15 Pro with a case, you don't need these adapters at all. You can just remove them and plug your phone straight in. So here we are. Now we've got the PS Remote Play app installed and running. And as you can see, we are now connected to the console. Now, because we've got the PlayStation backbone, all your buttons again are as you'd expect: triangle, square, circle, and X. And you can play any game that you want as you see fit. So let's jump on some Horizon Forbidden West. Like I said, I have used this in the past to play in the garden, but it's not just these that you're able to play. You can take it a step further and go away from the remote play from either of your consoles. Just because this is PlayStation and Xbox doesn't mean you're limited to that. You can play any mobile game that you see fit and use this as a dedicated controller. So we've mentioned this button earlier, which is the screenshot button, but what actually happens when we press it? So pressing that literally will take a screenshot of your device. And then in here, we've got the additional button that you can load up, and then in here, so you can share your screen, you've got your capture options, your broadcast if you do want to sort of live stream, I guess. You've got a start new recording, so you can record it rather than just take a screenshot. Take screenshot, show, save recent gameplay, and then you've even got over here where you're able to play and go through a media gallery, which you're able to see things that have been recorded through your media gallery, which is quite cool. Okay, so we've now gone ahead and connected it to my Android phone, the ROG phone. Now we've got an entirely different menu in here, almost like an Xbox menu itself. So obviously we've got the Xbox Remote Play, which we've looked at, and then there's Game Pass apps, but all these other apps that you can play: Steam Link, Call of Duty Mobile. We've got loads of games in here that we can play, Grand Theft Auto, you know, plenty and plenty of games. So I think we're just going to do COD Mobile. Let's do Call of Duty Warzone. So we're going to load that up there. Now we've gone back to the Xbox remote control. So let's get this loaded up and see how this plays. Now the phone sits slightly funny inside this, and this is because the USB-C port for the ROG phone is actually down here. So it's in at an angle. So we have put some of the adapters on, and it is sitting okay. Now I wouldn't want to shake this about or throw it around because I feel like it could fall out because of this. But I mean, there's the ROG cool stuff that it has. If you're interested in this phone, I've made a full review video. Go and check it out. Shameless plug. But yeah, it sits slightly funny, but it kind of looks quite nice. It gives you more room down here for your fingers, which is nice, and almost brings the screen up closer to you. So pros and cons there. Right, so I had to complete the tutorial quickly using touch controls, but we are now playing Warzone with the backbone. So yeah, don't expect anything good. When I was testing out the ROG phone, I actually did okay on some Call of Duty, but I haven't played any since on the phone, so don't expect anything. It feels very nice on the backbone, I must admit. Very nice. Like, the triggers are fine. Like I said, these triggers at top, your L1 and your R1, they are slightly small. If you've got fat fingers, you might fat finger it, but I'm pretty sure you'll get used to it. You just kind of have to be on the top half of it to press it. Is that an enemy? That is an enemy. What the? Okay, well look, there we go. We got a kill for you to see. So fantastic. So yeah, if you're a mobile gamer and you enjoy playing mobile games on your phone, then you're going to want to pick up something like the backbone. Just the ability to use a controller-like layout, controller-like buttons, and not have to touch on your phone. You're saving space for a start, and it's just way more clean and easier to use. You're going to be way better with this than you are using your thumbs on your phone. The only thing I would like to see, and I'll have to research and see if it's available, and if it is, I'll have to add in an extra clip into this, but I would love to see this port also be an out rather than just an in. So this is just your charging port. You plug your USB-C in there and it will charge your device, but you can't use XR glasses. Now, I feel like that's a little bit of a letdown. So using the backbone to actually control the game is what you want. But sometimes you might not want to use the phone itself as a display. If you've got XR glasses, you know how good they are. You might want to use them as your display. But I've tried and I cannot seem to get it working. It seems to be definitely an only power in and no power out. These backbones, like I said, I've used them before in the past. They are really good. These are now the latest models with the USB-C, because before it was just the lightning port. These are really good. I'm going to try and make more use of these, especially now the good weather's coming here in the UK. Hopefully summer's coming. I'm going to be able to sit in the garden a bit more and play stuff like Call of Duty Mobile whilst just sitting and chilling outdoors. So I'm definitely going to make more use of these. I think that's mostly it now. However, we do have a case to check out. So before we end the video, let's quickly check out the case and see what we get inside the case and how good the case might be for taking this to and from. And look, as you can see, I got those kills because of the backbone there. I could end up being a savage on this, guys. Right, let's take a look at the case. So I'm yet to check out the case, so I don't know entirely what's in here. So let's take a look now. Okay, it's literally just the case, which obviously is as expected. Let's get this open. Okay, it's like a nice felt sort of design on it and pretty minimal. Obviously, there's just a little bit of branding and logo there, but the felt design is quite nice. It's relatively hard case. I mean, you could crush it if you wanted to, but that's not the point of it. It is relatively hard and durable, so this probably would stand up by going inside your backpack. So we'll get this unzipped here. Okay, yeah, so it's a pretty clean, minimal design. I assume this literally just comes in like this and maybe slots in there. Ah, perfect. It literally pushes in, slots in there. That's going to hold it nice and securely. I mean, if you want to bring some cables, you could, but I don't think you need to at this point. And that literally goes in there like that. And you're now ready to take this anywhere and keep it protected. So guys, that was just a quick video, just taking a look at the backbone devices to see how good they are and how well they work. I mean, they get a thumbs up from me. If you're a mobile gamer, you're going to want to look at something like this because it's going to increase your fun, I think, playing on your mobile and probably make you better at the games. Now, I'll leave a link down below in the description for all of these so you can take a look for yourselves. But as always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you soon.